Small city shit.
Welcome back, everyone, to SNE's Virtual High School League presented by DreamBat Company. Don't forget, you guys can go to dreambats.com, get your wood bats for the summer. Use the promo code SNEDBC. Again, that's SNEDBC for 10% off. You also get free shipping with those. On this week's episode, we're going to be covering the standings, going over league leaders, our newest power rankings. We'll do our full 15 this week. We're going to cover our playoff format so you guys understand what's going on. And we're going to have an interview with Coach K, the head coach at West Springfield High School.
So we'll start off with the standings presented by Mantis Graphics. Leading Division I is Minchog at an 11-6 record. In 3A, Wacona is leading with a 13-5 record. In 3B, it's Athol with 11-5 record. 4A is Hopkins Academy at 12-6, and then in 4B is Franklin Tech at 11-5.
League leaders heading into the final week of the regular season. We have Giovanni Merced leading the league in batting average with 366, and Dakota Durkee from Westfield Tech. For home runs, we have San Feliciano leading the league with 7, and then 2 others are tied at 6. On the pitching side of things, Om Patel is leading in strikeouts with 58, and Giovanni has 56. For ERA, we have Anthony Rosado from Holyoke with a 2.12, and his teammate Isaiah Colon with a 2.68 ERA.
When I shoot my shot on net, no backboard. When I shoot my shot on net, no.
So for the power rankings this week, we're going to start at 15th and then go to 1st. In 15th, we've got Holyoke, Pope Francis, Athol, East Long Meadow, Hopkins Academy, Amherst, Long Meadow, Taconic, Wacona, Ludlow, West Springfield, Central, Chicopee Comp, Westfield, and then Minnetonka.
As the regular season winds down, we have playoffs starting on Thursday. The format's going to be a modified double elimination. So each team is going to play a series, a best out of 3 series. And that's games 1 and 2 will start on Thursday. Game 3 will be on Friday. And we're just going to continue that format going all the way until the championship series wrapping up on June 6th. All right, now we're going to be joined by Coach K, head coach at West Springfield High School. K, first question we have for you is just what are your thoughts on the high school league getting canceled this spring?
Well, I think it wasn't a huge surprise based on the things that have gone on previously to it getting canceled. Obviously, it's a huge disappointment for myself and for all the players who have worked really hard for their season, and I feel really bad for the seniors who, you look forward to the season, coming from T-ball all the way through middle school and into high school, you look forward to your senior year. And when you can't have that opportunity, it's kind of taken from you. It kind of stinks, it definitely stinks. And I feel really bad for them. I know that, some kids will be able to have an opportunity to go play in college, but those who don't, it just is not, it's not the way they want to go out necessarily. It makes you really appreciate your time prior to this, because at any point your season, your career could be over. So I can see, how disappointed they were, and I've talked to a lot of them. And, the younger kids, obviously it's not great that they miss a year of baseball, but hopefully they're able to maintain whatever they had previously been doing and be able to continue doing that next year.
What's coaching summer ball over the last couple of years taught you as a coach?
Well, I think it's a lot different than coaching during the season. I think during the season, high school season, your goal is to win as many games as possible and to, advance in the playoffs and try and win a championship. That's probably your main goal. And in high school, you kind of build a camaraderie with those kids. You have them for 4 years, and you see the development of those kids throughout the 4 years. So when you coach in the summer, you get a different group of kids a lot of times every single year. And your job in the summer is more to showcase those athletes and the things that they are able to do for all the scouts and the college coaches that are there. So your style of coaching is a lot different. And, we're situations where you might bond or manufacture run, you're going to kind of go and lean towards areas where you can allow kids to swing away and get those swings in those situations. I think managing the amount of time kids get to play in summer is a lot different than in high school. Where a kid might be at high school more of a spot player and get put in such games to pinch run or games to get an at bat or maybe for a defensive change. In high school, you're looking to more split the time up amongst those players and give them each a couple innings to show what they can do instead of being more of a spot player. So I do enjoy coaching in the summer because it's a little bit more of a light feel, more of the opportunity for players to improve in their skills. Whereas in the high school, you're kind of rushed into the season. You're trying to build camaraderie amongst your players, and players have a certain role on that team. So in the summer, it's more like, hey, we're going to enjoy it, but we're going to improve your skills and get you guys to play a lot of baseball in a short period of time. Whereas in high school, you're kind of focused on your 20-game schedule and, trying to win as many games as possible while using players in different situations.
What are some things that you see as, maybe potential roadblocks or potential growth even with just some high school programs around here, whether it's players, coaches, teams, divisions, that kind of thing?
Well, I think when we're talking about divisions, obviously in Massachusetts, they're going to a new format. So, for instance, West Springfield, who's been competing in like the Division I league, or I don't know, it's conference, whatever you want to call it, division, will be now in the Division II. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes when you're talking about what division you're playing, okay? So I think that's going to be a little bit something to get used to in the statewide playoff, which hasn't been done, which kind of is disappointing because you're taking away like a Western Mass tournament, which has been something that kids look forward to every year. But on the other end, you have the opportunity to go first round, maybe go out and play Silver Lake, which is something we've never done before. So that's pros and cons, okay? When you're talking about your team and your high school team, it's going to be totally different when you show up on day one because you're now basically taking your athletes who were sophomores 2 years ago, now they're your leaders of your team. So, those kids have never really been in a leadership role, and they don't have that junior year to you have that bridge year, your sophomore to senior year, you have that junior, which is a big bridge year for you as a young man to grow, I think, and become a vocal leader and a physical leader on the field. And now you're going to ask those kids, those young men, to step in and be the leaders of your team. So I think that's really difficult. Building a camaraderie amongst those kids is going to be very challenging. So you got to get that buy-in with your players. So I can see how that can be really challenging at some levels. And my concern is making sure you have the numbers. You don't lose interest with the whole year off. You sit there and you have kids that are coming in as freshmen. And like I know us personally, we had 30 freshmen coming out, which is a pretty good number for us. How many of those kids are going to come back out next year without that season, their freshman year, getting them involved and enjoying baseball and wanting to be a part of something? So you're worried about your numbers a little bit. You're worried about building that camaraderie within the team. And then when you're talking about the athlete's physical performance, taking, almost 2 years off, where are they going to be? Are they going to advance? Are they going to be better than they were their sophomore year? Are they going to regress? Who knows? So, like, summer baseball this year especially, I think, is extremely important. I know that Legion has been canceled, and I know in Western Mass they're trying to start 19 new league. I don't know what's going to be going on with all the tournaments, the travel tournaments with this pandemic going on. But I feel like summer baseball is so important this year especially, so that kids can get out there, pitchers can throw. Even if it's an abbreviated season, if it's only a month is better than nothing. I look at it that way. just to make sure that they're still doing things. Because when you take 2 years off and to expect to be as successful as you were previously, it's not realistic. So I think players, especially if you're a pitcher, right, and you're a sophomore and you pitched all sophomore year, and then you take 2 years off, I mean, you're looking at two totally different kids, young men. You know, it's going to be really challenging. So you can see how building that camaraderie and building your numbers, I think they're gonna be an issue next year. You know.
Talking about next year, Coach K, which players do you have coming back, and which of the younger guys do you look forward to seeing on field and obviously developing within the next year?
Well, at West Springfield, we lost a couple of players this year. Obviously, seniors who didn't get a chance to finish out their career. Chris McMahon and Mike Russell and Bax Amsden, just to name a few. But we had a really good, strong sophomore class, I felt like, and freshman class that were on the varsity team last year. We have Wilson Berdacia coming back, who will be a senior next year. Ryan Russell, who will be a senior next year. We bring back Max Dreswick, who will be a junior for us, Jose Acevedo, Garrett Dale. We have a bunch of younger kids who had varsity experience. They're going to come back. Benny Rodriguez will be coming back next year. He'll be a junior. So I think we had a really strong freshman class. We had a strong sophomore class. So I feel like they're going to fill in the roles moving forward. That's just to name a few of the athletes that we have coming back. But I think next year it's particularly, you're going to need an excessive amount of pitchers based on the new pitching rules that are being put in place. And again, if pitchers aren't throwing as much as they need to be in this season, who knows what kind of shape their arms are going to be next year. So hopefully, athletes are getting started a little bit earlier next year with training and preparing themselves for that upcoming season. Next year, preseason, even before the high school season starts, athletes getting into the cages, athletes getting, throwing, even if it's long, some long toss and starting to loosen their arms up prior to that preseason is so important to get them prepared for that year, having this year off. So I feel very confident about our team coming in next year, but again, it depends on how much work they're going to put in the off season and in the summer to prepare themselves for that year, so that you're feeling confident and the kids start to build. I think camaraderie is the most important part of a baseball team. So if those kids start to do things together and start to train together, start lifting weights and start doing those things that they need to do, then we'll be in a good place. If they decide not to and they want to kind of go the lazy way and then just show up, March 20th or whatever it is next year, and they think that they're going to be in baseball shape, then it's not going to be the year that I think we would hope for. But I feel confident going into next year. I know they're going to work hard, and I think the outlook is pretty good.
Thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll be joined by TK Kiernan. He's a recruiting coordinator at Sacred Heart University, Division I school down in Connecticut. Just be on the lookout on social media so you can ask him questions that you want answered. And we'll see you on Wednesday.